Alright guys, so this is going to be part 3 in the series. No, sorry. Yes, part 3. Okay. Um, what we're going to talk about this on this part of the tutorial is the AND gates and how they work. Okay. Um, so I've made a copy of one of the regular input gates, and then I made a copy of the final AND gate. These are both AND gates, okay? So don't worry, they're basically the same setup. I just wanted I picked them up separately from over here, okay, just so that way we can bring it over here and take a look at it. So basically, what it is I come in here and this, let's say this is the first one, and this here is the input that receives output from the node that we talked about in the previous tutorial. So it receives it from this one, and this one, or those ones, depending on which one is triggered. Um, well, which one is on and which one is triggered. Okay, so when the correct answer is entered, it will turn this on, and when the correct one is uh, unselected, then it will turn this off. And as you can see here, this light down here, which is um, the input to the next in the series, um, technically this one here is the output, and then this switch here is just a buffer that when we rebuild this here, we're going to remove because we don't really need it in there anymore. Um, doesn't need to be in there uh, because of the final AND gate. So this light here can be on for 2 seconds, and it doesn't really, uh, well, a second, and it won't really be too bad. Um, so getting into it here, let's talk about how this works. Like I said, you've got the input for the panel here, which receives its input from the output of the passgate node. Like I said, it might be called some other sort of gate, but I was unable to equate it to one of the other gates that I've seen. The pass-through gate is basically like a, a pass-fail and gate kind of thing. It's just a extra step or one less step, however you want to look at it. All right, so like I said, you've got your input here. When the input is put on, okay, it's basically supposed to work like this, okay. So when this is on, sorry, when this is turned off, okay, it's supposed to be the output is supposed to be on. It's supposed to be turned on, but only when these are also on. Okay. Now the problem, like I said, is this turns on for a little bit. Now I can now with the trap door and the way that it works, I can sit there and I can change all these to use trapdoors, so they'll never trigger um, when it's sorry, click the wrong thing. Uh, when both lights are on, the final output wouldn't. And if you need to do something where it needs to not do that ever, um, like the door here, and you need to do multiple steps, then you can use the trap door instead of the switch in the middle. Okay, but I only really need that last input to be the one that doesn't need to be done. And let's face it, big giant uh, trapdoor used as basic functionality of a switch or a switch when it can stay on for a couple seconds. So, and this is the smallest this trapdoor will go. It's just a simple trapdoor. Okay, so I can either take up a big space with this, or take up a small space with that. Um, so I only need to take up the big space with the final one, the final checkpoint, because that's the only one that triggers the final output that we need to worry about. All right, sorry if I repeated myself there. Moving on. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to build one of these. I'll show you how it works. Now, I'm not going to resize um, the globes here. I'm going to leave them at their default one because they're bigger and it'll be easier to see. Oops. Alright. Okay, so place our 2 green orbs and then our indigo orb. Sorry, I'm OCD. Alright, so now we have the lights that we need. Okay, so now the basic function of this is that when this gets toggled, okay, we want to toggle this. And when this one gets toggled, we want to toggle this one. Okay, now you can set this as on or off. Now basically what it is so over here I have it set to turn things to turn this one to turn the output on when it's off. Okay, but that's just so the logic board isn't it's not lit up at all unless an entry is made. Okay, but you can actually you can have it as the reverse if you wanted. You can have this set to on, and when it turns back, because one of these would turn it off and then the other one would turn it back on, and then it would go down the series and do the things that it needs to do. Okay, so whatever you're going to have as your default is going to be the output that you want to send out, okay, to the next step. Okay, so now I'm going to cut out that switch between them. Okay. Okay, now we want this orb, okay, here to be on when these are correct. Okay, so in order to do that, the first link that we make, when turned off, because we're starting with off. If you start with on, you'd put when turned on. Okay, select that one to turn on. Okay, so put this in, we put that in, and it's turned on. Okay, I put this in. Now, see, here's the problem. Here's the problem that lies with this. This is a wrong answer. Okay, they turned off the right input, and this is still on, and it shouldn't be. Okay, so that is a problem. Okay, now both answers are off, which, okay, sorry. Okay, and it's still on. So this is a problem. Okay. So in order to rectify this, what we do is we go ahead and we add switches. Go ahead and move this down to the smallest size. I hate how this thing jumps around. Okay, and then duplicate. Okay, so basically how we rectify it is with these switches. Okay, link. When turned on, turn on. Link. When turned on, turn on. So now these will only ever be on when these are turned on. Okay, once we add when turned off, turn off. And then link when turned off, turn off. Okay? So now we don't send the signal for when these are on to anything. When these are on, they do nothing besides turn themselves from off to on. That's the only thing that happens. Okay? We then link this to the final output that when it's turned off, we turn this off. And then this one's the same thing. Oop. That's not what I wanted. Turned off. Turn off. Okay? Now the reason why we do this with the switches instead of lights, okay, is because we need this to get the signal to shut off after it gets the signal to turn on. Because if you did this with lights, okay, it would send the signal to turn off, even though it would be an extra step. Okay, even if you did two lights, because you'd have to do two, because it still goes through this step before it hits here. Even if you added another light, the time is like basically the same, if not instant, to where it just goes boom boom boom. Okay, it's not long enough to do anything reliably. Okay, so we need to have some sort of a time delay, and switches have a time delay because they have an animation. They have to do some sort of animation before they're technically doing anything. So they're basically just here as delays. Alright, so when we turn this on, okay, we have the same functionality that we did before. The only thing that we've changed is that when this turns off, it turns this off the way that it should be. Okay? We turn it back on and it's on. We turn it off and it's off. Turn it back on and it's on. Okay? Now, same thing with that one. Now, see that there? This is the problem that you have with the AND switch. Okay, is that final light, okay, turns on. Alright, now the way to rectify this is to sit there and throw, okay, the trapdoor in the middle. Because the difference between the switches and the lights, the difference between the lights and the switches against the trapdoor is that it sends its message when it's fully opened or fully closed. Now, the switches and the lights basically send the signal when they get the signal. Okay, but the switches have to start their animation in order to send the signal. Okay, so that's why you get a time delay from this one. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. However, this one, okay, needs to open and close fully. So it has to finish its animation in order to trigger anything. Okay? So all I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to reposition this. down there. Okay, so we have enough room to place a trapdoor. What I'm going to do is, because it's already the right size, I'm just going to duplicate it, and put it there. Alright, so now what we do, okay, this has the links to that. What we're going to do is we're going to break that. Okay, so right now it's not linked to anything. Now remember what I said before, when it's turned, whenever the default is that it is right now, when everything's off, is the one that we're going to use. So when it's turned off, okay, we're going to go and we're going to open. Okay, now we sit there and we link. Alright, now see how it says here when fully opened? Okay, that's what causes this to be a kill switch to things not going past it unless both are correct, even when things are toggling the output of a normal AND switch to go. Okay. Okay, we're going to turn that on. Alright. Now, fully closed, we're going to turn it off. Okay, so open is going to be our on, and closed is going to be our off. All right. Now I don't think there's any other trigger I need to add here. So this should function, okay, like we need it to. All right. So the trapdoor is open and our end output is on. Okay, that's what we want. Now we shut off a light. Our end output is off. Okay. All right. Yep. That's a link that I missed. Sorry about that. Turned off. Close. Link. And turned off. Close. All right. Sit there and close that because that's off, so that should be off too. Alright, just go ahead and turn that off. Now, you see the difference right there? Okay. Now it sends the signal through, but it doesn't make it past the trap door. It doesn't make it past the trap door because it's when it's fully opened and when it's fully closed that it sends the signal. Okay, you could probably do this with a normal door too. You could have a little mini door controlling the big door, you know. Okay. So that's the way that works. Okay. Now this final light here, I don't need to have here. I can then send this trapdoor directly to the door when it's fully closed. All right. This is basically just good programming etiquette, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Is just to have, you know, a sort of layout that's just easy to understand. So if you ever need to make changes or you need to add anything, you know exactly what everything means. You don't have to figure out things. Okay. Now, like this here, I have the red. Marked, and it's different from all the other ones because that is the color that was over here, and that red is the final output of all the AND gates. So I wanted to have it be a different color, and I wanted to have it be bigger. So that's why, you know, that's it's just making things easier for when I need to edit anything in the future. Now, as far as the sticky door goes, that you can't click on and cause to open. Somebody finally told me how they did it. I was trying with like switches and delays and everything to get it to not open, and it just turns out to be a simple thing of, and I haven't tried this yet, so hopefully I get this right on the right try here. If not, I'll have to include it in the next video. Alright, so link, and Click by player. It's supposed to just link it to itself. Alright, I'm not quite understanding this here. Supposed to link it to itself. How do I link it to itself? Alright, this one's already... Alright, now maybe I can find the link. Alright, so somebody had said to me I just link it to itself. How do I... This one was copied from the template that I got from Zentario, the one that I gave credit to before. This door is his, and that was pretty much the only thing from his build that I've used in mine without any sort of modification. Yeah, pretty much all this is built by scratch, but looking at his links helped close some gaps in my mind on how to do things, but I still had to figure it out because it was all screwy. Well, not screwy, but I couldn't figure out like finished pathways. Alright, so I will try to tell you how to sticky a door in the next video. Like I said, this is the first time I tried it, so I don't understand how to link it to itself. Alright. I covered the AND gates, and that's that. I don't think I need a whole nother tutorial separated from this to explain the input panel. So you know what? I'm just gonna include that in this. No, I'll just do that in the overall after this because I want to figure out how to tell you how to do the sticky door. And that's that. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next tutorial. If you have any questions about the AND gate that I maybe didn't cover, or any questions about, you know, my pass gate nodes, and like that you didn't feel I covered properly, just go ahead and leave comments and I will try to cover it in a what I forgot to mention at the end of all the tutorials that I do. I'm trying to get these all pumped out today. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.